I think the Oscar shows, I think the other music shows like the Grammys and the American Music Awards and all those awards, those shows pop. And the Oscars has to come at it like that and make the show move.
Eddie Murphy, who has had a long-standing history of grievances with the Oscars, is reportedly gearing up to unveil the undisclosed agreements actors enter into in pursuit of an Academy Award. Apparently, his concerns about the fairness of the Oscars, claims of the institution neglecting his contributions, and hints at shedding light on some concealed aspects of the prestigious event have fueled his ongoing conflict with the entertainment industry. Yet it appears there is much more to discover about what he has recently revealed.
Pay your taxes, mind your business, and keep Will Smith's wife's name out your mouth!
Comedy is a tough art, and earning an Oscar for comedic performances seems nearly impossible. The Academy tends to favor serious, dramatic roles in Oscar bait projects, often overlooking the craft involved in comedic acting. However, this could have changed temporarily in 2021 if either Sacha Baron Cohen or Maria Bakalova had secured well-deserved Oscar nominations for their outstanding work in Borat's subsequent movie film. Nonetheless, even such nominations can't make up for the numerous times Eddie Murphy delivered award-worthy performances in comedies and ended up snubbed.
Turn the heat up. Back there it's nice and warm, but over here, ooh, it's cold as hell and freezing.
And talking about Eddie Murphy, he has only received one Oscar nomination, and it was for his role in Bill Condon's musical Dreamgirls. Murphy himself has acknowledged in interviews that he may not have exerted as much effort in that film as he does in most of his comedic roles.
One of the greatest, funniest people of all time was George Carlin, and he received this award posthumously.
One performance that continues to be critically examined in hindsight is his work in The Nutty Professor, where he used makeup and prosthetics to portray the entire Klump family. A similar technique was applied in the Coming to America films, particularly in the iconic barbershop scene.
Hey, I ain't saying Clay ain't bad. I'm just saying I stopped liking Cassius Clay once he changed his name to Muhammad Ali. What kind of
During a conversation with Coming to America director Craig Brewer on the Real Blend podcast, we brought up Murphy's repeated snubs by the Academy, and Brewer shared his insights on why this pattern persists. He said, "It really bothers me, and I feel that it's even more stilted against Eddie because the problem that I think people have with Eddie is that they think that it's easy for him. I'm sure there are many things in Eddie's life that feel easy, but what people don't know is what I see, which is him sitting in his chair in makeup. He's putting on music, he's getting into a place, he's rehearsing these lines. You see him where he doesn't fool around on set. When you're in between takes, he goes to his chair and you see him get into this trance where he is working and working and working. There's craft there, and I worry that people think that like, oh well, Eddie's just showing up and being funny like he's always done, and that's just not true. Yes, he's showing up and being hilarious, but it's not like he's just flipping a switch. Fans believe that it's indeed an unjust evaluation of comedians, and Eddie Murphy is not the sole funny individual to be overlooked due to the Academy's reluctance to fully recognize comedic talents. One person wrote on the internet, "No one ever said Hollywood had morals. The award bid is true. The 1995 movie Heat had one of the most realistic gunfights ever filmed, and it didn't even get a nomination for the Oscars." Another one added, "For award shows, it's also about campaigning and which studio will spend the money to wow the jury, like Weinstein famously did. And you didn't talk about the problem concerning child actors." Craig Brewer highlighted the year when Kevin Kline won the Best Supporting Actor award for A Fish Called Wanda as an example, but for every such victory, numerous outstanding comedic performances, like those by Kristen Wiig or Jim Carrey, are unfortunately excluded from the Oscar race.
I knew that we were going to have that as well, because you're seeing people that you haven't seen in a long time. I mean, I even remember doing like this push-in on Arsenio Hall.
Craig Brewer expressed the view that when you talk to any dramatic actor or actress, they tend to share a common sentiment. According to him, comedy is significantly more challenging because it lacks the immediate feedback of laughter in the room, requiring a quiet atmosphere. Comedic performances demand a deep understanding of timing and the ability to engage with an audience that isn't physically present. Brewer believed that comedy often involves a higher level of awareness and craftsmanship, depending on the material. in comparison to some dramatic roles where characters may resort to more straightforward emotional expressions, making them relatively easier to portray.
The comedy is funny because the drama's real. And I think that at the end of the day, Coming to America is about family, especially this one, considering his daughter's in the movie.
I'm very pleased that you mentioned that.
The Oscars have faced criticism for not being inclusive towards black actors, with several controversies tarnishing the award show's reputation. One notable incident occurred in 2019 when Kevin Hart stepped down as the Oscars host due to the resurfacing of past homophobic tweets. Furthermore, the Oscars So White campaign has called for increased diversity and recognition of people of color and marginalized communities within the industry. This has led to a perception that Hollywood's prestigious Walk of Fame now resembles more of a Walk of Shame due to its lack of stars representing diversity.
Kevin Hart has stepped down from hosting this year's Oscars. He put out a statement on Twitter tonight saying, "I have made the choice to step down from hosting this year's Oscars."
In a February afternoon in the 1940s America, actress Hattie McDaniel achieved a historic milestone by winning the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in Gone with the Wind in 1940. Notably, she became the first African American to receive this prestigious film award, while celebrating her victory and leaving an indelible mark on cinema history. The joy was tempered by the stark reality that she would be segregated from the rest of the attendees at an Oscar ceremony that effectively operated as a whites-only event. Instead of being a celebration, this event was marked more by segregation than jubilation.
I sincerely hope I shall always be a credit to my race and to the motion picture industry. My heart is too full to tell you just how I feel.
80 years later, the film industry still grapples with a form of routine discrimination, despite some progress in increasing diversity. The 2020 Oscar ceremony was marred by racial controversies that have become all too common for both viewers and industry participants. Major snubs, such as the omission of Lupita Nyong'o for her outstanding performance in the 2019 film Us, exemplify this issue.
And the Oscar goes to Lupita Nyong'o.
Eddie has pointed out that the reason behind such discrimination are undisclosed contracts. Apparently, the actors sign that contract and win the Academy Award, which leads us to the fact that they've probably become sellouts. The narrative unfolds with more than just a single celebrity sharing their cautionary tale of potentially aligning too closely with the influential figures at the top of the entertainment hierarchy. It's a chorus of voices, led by Denzel Washington. Rather than immediately outing the prominent figures, Washington initiated the conversation by critiquing his colleagues in the industry for what he perceived as their misguided sense of self-importance.
People say, oh, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult. It's just a movie. It's like, relax.
He expressed that we are now in an era where many are growing weary of the woke Hollywood elites who come across as self-righteous and superior. Washington criticized those in the industry who take the stage to self-congratulate and offer life guidance to others, while living in opulent mansions. Nevertheless, not all the most renowned stars fall into this category. Denzel Washington, for instance, is an individual who prioritizes what truly matters in life, and he is not pleased with how some of his colleagues in the entertainment industry behave. Denzel, who has won an Oscar, doesn't just stop there. He doesn't believe that making movies is super hard. He even compared it to simpler jobs like being a garbage man or dealing with the challenges of war.
I like being a garbage man better. But they weren't bad jobs. It's like, people say, oh, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult.
Similar to Eddie's and Denzel's willingness to address the industry's shortcomings, other celebrities have also spoken out about peculiar occurrences within the entertainment world. One such individual is Cat Williams, who took a more direct approach to shedding light on issues within the industry. The comedian recently made pointed comments about his industry peer Jamie Foxx, suggesting that Foxx may have compromised his integrity for the sake of an award. But that's only part of what Williams had to say about the actor. Around a decade ago, during a performance in Los Angeles, Cat Williams openly discussed a rumor regarding Jamie Foxx's S orientation. He straightforwardly stated, quote, "Who's gay? Jamie Foxx." Williams even went as far as to mention a name, claiming, "I can even tell you the name of the dude he F. His name is Marcus Anthony. He's the only dude signed to Jamie Foxx's label."
I know all the comedians and actors' secrets. Who's gay? Jamie Foxx. I'm not gonna say it because I can tell you the name of the dude he
Then the comedian kept going and said a lot of negative things about Fox. He used strong language and said, forget Jamie Foxx and the money he got from Django Unchained. He also said, quote, they gave me the script and I said, any guy who does this should die. And the next thing I knew, Jamie Foxx was getting ready for the movie.
His name is Marcus Anthony. He's the only dude signed to Jamie Foxx's label. Check it out.
After that, the comedian leveled further accusations against Fox, suggesting that Fox made significant sacrifices to secure an Oscar. Cat Williams appeared to believe that Fox's path to success was marked by numerous challenging moments, which have led him to surmise that Fox may have indeed sacrificed something significant along the way. Jamie Foxx is a multi-talented individual who began his career with humorous sketches and subsequently transitioned into acting, ultimately earning an Academy Award for his achievements.
No, ladies always know, girl, don't talk to her. See, they always know that, but see, I'm just want to, apologize. Come on, shake my hand.
However, the situation may have been more complex than Cat Williams portrayed it. According to reports, Jamie Foxx didn't initially view his Oscar nomination with the seriousness it deserved. Like a typical newcomer in the industry, he thought there was no chance of winning against the seasoned nominees. As it turns out, the industry's decision makers may have had a plan in place from the very beginning.
What happened was, every time I did a show, like if I did a show for you guys, I had cue cards. And I would pass the cue cards out, and I would have people sign their name and put their pager number on there. Remember that?
Seems like it was so hard for Jamie to get an Academy Award. When I was up for the Oscar, I didn't really think it was a big deal, Fox explained. I thought there's no way I'm going to win that thing. I saw Oscar time as a reason to have fun. I was like, oh, I'm nominated? Let's celebrate with champagne and party. I remember having those photo-taking people following me for the first time. I went a bit crazy. At the Golden Globes, I had some champagne and I acted pretty silly on the red carpet. Looking back, I realized I was not respectful to the whole thing. Fox talked about going to the show with a friend and being nominated for many awards that year. On the red carpet, he and his friend were shouting about how many awards they were up for that night in a way that seems immature, he said. His publicist called him and scolded him for his behavior, saying, "What are you doing? Can't you see how embarrassing this is? You have a chance, but you need to act a certain way." In hindsight, it appears that the nomination may have served as a way for the industry elites to prepare Jamie Foxx for what lay ahead. It seems Foxx had reached a pivotal juncture in his career, where he was on the cusp of being inducted into the upper echelons of the industry.
I get a call, and on the other end of the phone says, "Hi, Jamie Foxx." So who's this? This is Oprah.
The initial intervention to guide Jamie Foxx on the path expected by the industry's elites came from a renowned media mogul. This prominent television personality personally reached out to Foxx, delivering a candid message that he was potentially blowing it. She told me, "You really have a great chance to do something that is wonderful, and the character you played touched so many, but not if you act like this," Foxx said.
It's okay. You want to meet who you're supposed to meet here? I said, yeah. He's right there. And it was Sidney Poitier.
I was going to say, I bet you they brought out Sidney Poitier.
The influential media figure appeared to have a strategic plan in mind. She invited Jamie Foxx to a gathering at Quincy Jones' residence, where Foxx had the opportunity to interact with several actors and actresses he had long admired from his youth. They expressed their admiration for his work and extended their congratulations. However, the primary reason the media boss brought Foxx to the party was for him to meet one particular individual, Sidney Poitier. Standing in a tuxedo in the corner was Sidney Poitier, Foxx said. "I walked up to him and he said, 'I watched your performance and I grew 2 inches. I leave you with one thing. Responsibility.'" Following his introduction to Sidney Poitier, Jamie Foxx's career took a significant upswing, with numerous major awards and increasing success. However, as he appeared to have a change of heart, he found himself embroiled in a misconduct investigation, and even after surviving that, he ended up in the hospital. This highlights that even individuals of Foxx's stature aren't immune to the influence of powerful figures within the industry.
Every time there's success, you have to be prepared for the darkness, because you can't have sunshine without darkness. So it's always this balance.
The industry elites have also potentially attempted to ruin the careers of other actors who sought to distance themselves from their control, including Cuba Gooding. Cuba Gooding's story is somewhat different from the typical narrative surrounding famous personalities. The Hollywood power players not only derailed his popularity, but also disrupted his life beyond the glamorous world of entertainment. However, it is important to note that Gooding also played a role in his own downfall.
And then, it's one of those moments in my life where I was trying to numb the pain. So I would
During the late 1990s and early 2000s, Cuba Gooding enjoyed significant success in Hollywood, garnering attention for his roles in TV shows like Hill Street Blues and MacGyver. He reached new heights with his performance in John Singleton's acclaimed film, Boys in the Hood.
Ain't nothing gonna happen to me.
Tired of hearing them shooting all the time.
Subsequently, his career continued to flourish, with notable roles in movies like Rob Reiner's adaptation of Aaron Sorkin's A Few Good Men and the thriller Outbreak. However, the primary reason for Cuba Gooding Jr.'s career decline is the allegations made by many women against him. It's worth noting that Gooding himself was also involved in some questionable actions. Some suggest that part of his current situation stems from his intention to expose certain secrets about individuals in Hollywood, which ultimately led to significant trouble for him. "No one prepares you for success," he said. "That's why you see a lot of actors that star in movies, then disappear. Or you see athletes that make $100 million and then they disappear too. They weren't ready for it." People asked me after I won that Academy Award if I ever thought I would be on that stage. I always said, not in a million years. But that's a lie. You have to envision yourself on that stage, winning that award, so that when you succeed, it will feel normal, not like it's something special, so that you can do it again. Cuba Gooding Jr. won an Oscar in 1997 for his work in Jerry Maguire. But almost 2 decades later, the Academy Awards have failed to make much progress, following the widespread disappointment of this year's Oscar nominees, which did not recognize a single actor of color. Variety asked Gooding Jr. his opinion on the Oscars So White backlash. Quote, "You want it to be diverse. You want the work to show," Gooding Jr. told Variety and other reporters this weekend at the Television Critics Association press tour in Pasadena, California. "I wanted Straight Outta Compton to get something, but you know, it's this conversation that makes people think harder when the nominations come around for next year." Anyways, the troubles for Cuba Gooding Jr. began in June 2019 when USA Today reported an investigation into an incident where he was accused of touching a woman inappropriately at a New York City bar while he was intoxicated. Subsequently, Gooding voluntarily went to the police and was arrested.
When a woman alleges Gooding touched her inappropriately at a different nightclub, and another incident where he allegedly grabbed a woman's breast at this bar in June.
This marked the turning point in his career, as he had been on a positive trajectory prior to these events. Unfortunately, matters took a darker turn later in the year when a more severe incident occurred.
Tonight, Cuba Gooding Jr. pleading not guilty to new charges after this video obtained by TMZ surfaced.
During the time this was making headlines, there was significant speculation that Gooding's sudden downfall might be linked to his potential knowledge of distressing occurrences within Hollywood. But the question remained, how could he have been privy to such information? It's important to note that despite the eventual loss of everything, Cuba Gooding Jr. was enjoying a successful career before these unfortunate incidents unfolded.
I mean, you must have felt like you'd lost everything, right?
Yeah, well, it's more than that. It was like, you don't want to let down those who have supported you and brought you where you're at.
Cuba Gooding Jr.'s achievements extended beyond starring in lucrative films. He also secured an Oscar, which significantly elevated his status in Hollywood. Winning the prestigious award empowered him to demand higher pay for his roles and afforded him the privilege of choosing the projects he wanted to be part of. He ascended to the upper parts of the industry and relished his success.
I know I have a little bit of time, so I'm going to rush and say everybody, and you can cut away. I won't be mad at you. Tom said, "Don't forget to thank your wife." I will never forget to thank my high school sweetheart and the mother of...
Given his position, it is reasonable to assume that being part of this exclusive Hollywood circle provided Gooding with access to influential individuals and a glimpse into the behind-the-scenes dynamics of the industry. It appears that he may have come across information that became overwhelming. One of his fans wrote, "A lot of people say getting an Oscar early in your career is a curse. Maybe due to cockiness, you feel like you arrived. Someone who is starting out and not getting recognition will most likely grind, work hard, and will not turn roles down. Look at Leo. He was on the hunt for his Oscar. Finally got one years into his journey." Another one added, "He turned that Oscar into an idol, and that destroyed his career. That man made a series of critical mistakes of turning down roles that actors would cave for." While Gooding appeared eager to shed light on what was occurring within the industry, it seems that powerful figures may have thwarted his efforts. However, it is also plausible that his own choices played a role in his downfall, contributing to his fall from grace in the eyes of the industry's influential figures.
It's just one of those aspects of being someone in the spotlight. You can't stand on stage with an award over your head and accept that, but not accept this.
Cuba Gooding Jr. appears to have been motivated to expose the industry because he felt that his career had been severely damaged, possibly as a result of efforts by powerful figures in the industry to undermine him. He has openly discussed this and believes that some white actors who engaged in more egregious behavior than him managed to avoid consequences and continue thriving. According to him, the only reason his situation differed was that he refused to be controlled by the industry's elites. Furthermore, the timing of additional accusations and allegations against Gooding raises questions about whether there may be more at play than mere coincidence. The emergence of further accusations, along with the treatment of other celebrities who have experienced difficulties in the industry, underscores the notion that those who challenge or defy the established power structures within Hollywood can face significant repercussions. Monique, a legendary actress and comedian, is another example of a celebrity who has felt the consequences of challenging the industry's elites.
Now, I said no to some very powerful people. I said no to Oprah Winfrey. I said no to Tyler Perry. I said no to Lee Daniels. And I said no to Lionsgate.
Monique's experience with the industry showcases a telling example of the challenges faced by those who assert themselves in Hollywood. During an episode of Steve, the Oscar-winning actress recounted an incident that had her branded as difficult and subsequently blackballed in the industry. This happened when she insisted on receiving additional compensation for her involvement in the Oscar publicity campaign for the 2009 film Precious. Her stand for fair pay ultimately led to her being sidelined within Hollywood.
If anybody else wants me to do anything else, there's a price to that, because what we're not in is slavery. So what I cannot do is work for y'all for free.
In the 2009 film Precious, which is based on a true story, Monique portrayed the character of Mary Lee Johnston, the main character's mother, who was portrayed as a difficult and abusive figure. Despite her remarkable performance, which earned her both a Golden Globe and an Academy Award the following year, there were issues during the production of Precious, involving producers Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry. Prior to the award season, the producers requested that Monique attend the Cannes Film Festival in France to promote the movie. However, they were unwilling to provide her with compensation for this additional commitment, even though it wasn't part of her original contract. This led Monique to decline the request.
When it came time to go to different festivals and promote this movie, but you're really campaigning for the awards.
She recounted that when the request to attend the Cannes Film Festival came from the producer, she explained to Oprah that she was juggling her talk show, a comedy tour, her family responsibilities including a husband and children, and wanted to make the most of her available downtime. She made it clear that she had fulfilled her obligations and, as a result, she decided not to go. They reached a mutual understanding to disagree on this matter. However, after this, she found herself being labeled as difficult and hard to work with.
And you not scared of those white boys, why are you trying to tell me to do something that I'm not contractually obligated to do?
In order to convey a more indirect tone, it appears that the industry elites made an example out of Monique as a way to emphasize the importance of adhering to their rules. This led to a significant decline in her career, making it challenging for her to secure roles for an extended period. When she did manage to secure a role, the compensation she received was considerably lower in comparison to other stars on the show.
I said, I don't want nothing to do with that cat. I said, I know is up to a scam.
Monique responded to the situation by taking legal action and calling for a boycott. Although she ultimately found herself in a difficult position, she continues to fight to regain her standing in the industry, although her journey remains a challenging one. Unfortunately, not all celebrities have had the luxury of escaping such challenges unscathed. You get called angry, you get called bitter, you get called delusional, she said as a vocal black woman in showbiz. You get called so many things. You get called aggressive, you get called a bully. She added that her special will shed light on her industry battles. You'll understand why I do not back down. A similar narrative can be observed in the case of the legendary singer Whitney Houston, who transitioned into the film industry. While most recognize Whitney Houston as one of the greatest singers of all time, her foray into acting is less well known. In 1992, she starred alongside Kevin Costner in the immensely popular romantic drama The Bodyguard. The film achieved tremendous success at the box office, and the soundtrack, filled with powerful ballads sung by Whitney Houston, sold millions of copies worldwide, featuring her iconic rendition of I Will Always Love You. In addition to its commercial success, Houston's performance earned her an Academy Award nomination, marking a pivotal moment in her life.
Share my life, take me for
Following her Oscar nomination, Whitney Houston's career reached new heights. However, her failure to secure the award appeared to coincide with a tumultuous period in her life. Reports emerged of her engaging in peculiar behavior, such as getting intoxicated at her hotel and even doing handstands. It was further alleged that she took a more perilous turn later on, with claims of deliveries to her hotel.
Is it Is it pills?
It has been. At times.
All?
At times.
While her cause of death was initially reported as drowning, a Los Angeles private investigator suggested that there were more complex factors involved, insinuating that her death might have been more of a homicide than an accident.
I think we know that she had drowning, and they're saying she had atherosclerosis, which means that she had some clogging of the arteries, some narrowing, and that she also had cocaine. The question is, how did they all combine to kill her?
This pattern of misfortune following involvement with awards appears to extend to other individuals as well, such as Morgan Freeman. Freeman's career began in the New York Stage's musical theater, and he garnered an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in a boxing movie about a determined young woman. He portrayed one of the first believers in the women's talent, and the film also won Best Picture, Director, and Actress for Hilary Swank. However, it seems that Freeman may not have fulfilled certain industry expectations associated with his award, and this period was marked by his own personal setbacks.
8 women are accusing actor Morgan Freeman of inappropriate behavior and harassment. The women allege they were subject to unwanted touching and comments.
A few years after receiving his award, Morgan Freeman found himself embroiled in allegations of inappropriate behavior, which revolved around a person he was related to. According to reports, prior to her tragic M, Morgan Freeman's step-granddaughter informed her boyfriend, who later became her K, that the actor had been involved in a romantic relationship with her, confirming long-standing assertions about the illicit affair. Adina Hines disclosed to Lamar Davenport and others that her grandfather engaged in an inappropriate relationship with her. Davenport's lawyer Beth Unger claimed in court Friday. His defense team didn't go into further detail, but they provided testimony from a therapist who claimed that Davenport admitted to often arguing with Hines about infidelity, with each accusing the other of being unfaithful. Rumors about Freeman's alleged affair with Hines have swirled since 2009, which is when it was first alleged by the National Enquirer. Gossip sites later claimed that the relationship was serious and that the two were even planning on tying the knot. It's apparent that even after celebrities like Morgan Freeman, Hattie McDaniel, and others attain prestigious awards, the shadow of industry expectations and power dynamics can continue to affect their careers. The notion that these prominent figures must align with the whims of the industry elites to secure and maintain their awards and success is not a new phenomenon. It has persisted for decades.
I want to thank everybody and anybody who ever had anything at all to do with the making of this picture. But I especially want to thank Clint Eastwood.
Hattie McDaniel's case serves as a poignant historical example. Despite being the first African-American to win an Oscar in 1940 for her role as Mammy in Gone with the Wind, she was not spared from the harsh realities of racism. On the very night she made history as the first black Oscar winner, she was met with discrimination at the hotel where she was staying, unable to sit at the same table as the film's white cast members. Rather than her Oscar leading to improved opportunities for black actors, including McDaniel herself, it seemed to have a detrimental impact on her career. It has made me feel very, very humble, and I shall always hold it as a beacon for anything I may be able to do in the future, she told the crowd. I sincerely hope I shall always be a credit to my race and to the motion picture industry. However, sometimes beauty also becomes a curse. Kim Basinger's career has been shaped by her striking beauty, which often led to her being cast in roles that emphasized her as appeal. Films like 9.5 Weeks, Blind Date, and My Stepmother is an Alien were examples of such roles that played up her attractive features. However, her portrayal of Vicky Vale in Tim Burton's Batman provided a break from this typecasting.
Listen, I came over to clear a few things.
I don't know who you think you are. You hurt me.
I know. Look.
I called you when I called you.
I know.
And you lied.
Well,
Director Curtis Hanson recognized another dimension of Basinger's talent and cast her as an old-school femme fatale in the 1997 classic LA Confidential. This role allowed her to showcase both her beauty and her acting abilities, earning her the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress.
And to give 1,000 thank yous, I just want to thank everybody I've ever met in my entire life.
Following her Oscar win, Basinger shifted away from the va-va-voom roles, but struggled to establish herself as a serious actress in subsequent attempts. Films like I Dreamed of Africa, Bless the Child, and Cellular did not contribute positively to her career. However, one of the more notable roles she secured post-Oscar was playing Eminem's mother in 8 Mile, a movie directed by Curtis Hanson. In recent years, Basinger has mostly appeared in supporting roles as seen in Grudge Match and 50 Shades Darker. It appears that she could benefit from collaborating with a director like Curtis Hanson, who understands how to harness the substance beyond her beauty to elevate her performances.
I had no interest in going back to work whatsoever. None. And
the consistent pattern of challenges and misfortunes faced by individuals in the entertainment industry following their Oscar wins or nominations has prompted questions and discussions among people who are curious about the underlying dynamics and forces at play in Hollywood.